live stream. It is 8 p.m. Eastern, which means it's time to get rolling here. And of course, I always like to double check and make sure that whatever is supposed to be on is on right now. And I never know if I'm going to see it or not on here. But uh, good to have you here tonight. This is kind of an unplanned. I mean, we always plan to do this on Sunday night, but as far as topics go, I'm not sure. Well, who just checked in? I'm still trying to find this on. Oh, Deb Deer, Double D. It's good to have you here. So I'm guessing that we must be live. Oh, there it is. It always takes a little while to show up on my stream, and I'm not quite understanding that because I would think I'd be the first one to get it because I know what I'm looking for. But how is the weather where everybody is? Goodness gracious, I have noticed that back home in Wisconsin, it's floating right around zero, and it's only going to go down for the next few days. Here it's been beautiful. Down here in Southwest Florida, I would say it's been in the 70s. Um, what was that word I just said? 70s? 70-ish. I would say I woke up this morning, it was probably 68 degrees, and it was 73 by the time I took my walk today. So it has just been a beautiful day. And crazy cold in Atlanta tomorrow and Tuesday. Lows are in the oh goodness, you're gonna have lows in the teens. By the way, I screwed up my cocktail tonight. I have no one to blame but myself. I was hustling and bustling. I wanted to get ready for my program, and I poured in club soda in, or yeah, club soda instead of regular soda like 7 Up. So it didn't have any sweetness to it. So then I had to pour a bunch of simple syrup into it. But of course, then it doesn't have that kind of citrus flavor of Sprite or 7 Up. It's all right though. It'll get us through the night. So, what is happening this week? The Gators. I don't know if you saw the Gator video. I was out walking earlier this morning and I looked across the pond and it looked like a gator to me. And then I walked over there and I couldn't find what looked like the gator. I couldn't find that area in the grass. I think what was happening when I was looking at it from across the water, I could see it all. I could see the outline and everything. But once I got to the other side, whatever it was, whether it was a gator or some collection of dry twigs and leaves or whatever, um, I think it's a gator, but I can't confirm it. That was kind of hidden by all of the grass. And I wasn't about to go over there and dig through that because if it were a gator, I would have been sorry that that happened. So, anyway, I don't know if we have a gator, but uh, a gator. I know we have gators. I know we have lots of gators. I just don't know if that was a gator today. But the bears are back. And the bears are back in force. A new set of bears. We now have one mama and three cubs. And those cubs are getting pretty big. They're getting to be close to the size of the mother bear. This is different from the previous mother bear and cub because she only had one cub, and that was the one, I don't know if you remember, she had kind of the sore foot or ankle or bad leg or something because she was limping a little bit, and this one is not. So now we have validated, confirmed that there are at least 6 bears that are right down here, 100 yards from me, and they've even made the local news now that they are walking up and down people's sidewalks and hanging around people's back doors. And I don't know. I don't know why they're coming out. Before this year, the last 2 or 3 months, we have been seeing these bears on a regular basis. Prior to that, it was 3 years ago, Christmas Eve, that my wife and I saw a mother and her cub So maybe it's the same mother bear. I don't know. I'm sure that cub by now is all grown up, right? So a lot of bears. A lot of bears are hanging out around here. If you're interested, I mean, how many times can you post pictures of bears? But I got pictures, I got video. Maybe I'll just do a quick video, just show the bears. Kind of fun, but what I think is really kind of stupid, and I kind of did it myself, fortunately, but I didn't wait very long when my daughter and her boyfriend were down visiting, and this was over the holidays. This is a month ago now. They called me up and said, "Oh, the bear's down here." So I went walking down there, and I was like standing across the street from a bear. And I thought, I don't want to be this close to a bear. So I went to their car right away and hopped in. When you're across the street, you're only 30 feet away. And it's a wild animal. It doesn't matter how cuddly they look and how fuzzy and furry and docile they appear, they're still wild animals. And when I see them, I'm in my car. I might roll down the window and take a little video or something, but I'm ready to hit it because I know that that bear can, you know, catch me before I even know it. And it just annoys me to see people just standing across the street from it. Last time I saw the four of them, there were 4 or 5 people standing across the street watching them. And I thought, if that mother bear gets riled up, she gets spooked, too many people gathering a crowd, they'll probably just walk off into the woods, into the Everglades, but I'm not sure of it. So I'm just I feel a little, I feel a little concerned about those people. And I don't think they're the brightest people on earth to be standing there across the street from a bear. But what are you going to do? What else did I do this week? I got myself a cat wheel. So you know how you buy those little wheels for your gerbil? I got one for my cat. It's massive. This thing is 48 inches. It's 4 feet across. It looks like I have a time dimension portal in my living room. What's the comment? Um, you're right. Tell you, ever since I moved to Florida, you know what I think it is? I think you moved to Florida and you're with all these people. You get old through osmosis. And I'm not kidding. I never really needed reading glasses until I got down here. So it's like people getting close to the Buffalo and Yellowstone just to get a good picture. Oh, absolutely. And I've been in. I was. I don't think I was ever in Yellowstone, but I was up in the Badlands, and those buffalo come through. And I've been in Montana and those areas, and those buffalo, I they're so big and they come right up against your car, and I swear to God that they could knock your car over if they wanted to. So they go to the bears and the buffalo, and I saw a video this week of some woman, I don't know if it was in Canada, maybe, and there was a big bull moose and a big set of antlers, and it was coming up to the car window. And she was talking about, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have anything to feed you." Let out a bellow. And I thought, that's crazy. Opening your door to a moose or opening your window and letting a moose, she petted him on the snout. I guess you could say, well, they're used to it, they're accustomed to it. It's like those begging burros, that you see along I-80 up north. And the problem is, you never know when one of them's going to get upset, or there's going to be two of them that stick their head in, and they're going to be fighting one another, and one of them decides he's going to bite off your fingers or something. You just never know. So anyway, so I got this cat wheel, and I got it put together with relative ease, and it's pretty cool. It's just a big wheel, and the track is maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 inches wide. I don't think it's quite 12 inches wide, so maybe 10 inches wide, and it rotates pretty smoothly. But I was trying to get max on it, and I am live. Um, Irving Johnson, Dr. J, just came on. So anyway, I guess that would be Irvin Johnson, Dr. J, right? It'd be Irving. So I'm trying to get Max on this thing. And as soon as I put him on, he just walks off. I'll put him on and try to spin it so he starts walking, but good luck holding on to him. You know, he's 15 pounds of solid muscle. I won't be able to control him. If he doesn't want to go on, he's not going to go on. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. If we have any cat trainers out there, hey Lisa. So he's not one to like follow, a little toy. He's very much a predator. And if I would get a toy out, he will feign disinterest. Like I have this toy, I play with him a lot. It's sort of like a fishing pole. It's a little plastic rod, and it's got a cloth like a snake that dangles from a long piece of cloth. It's got some jingle bells on it, makes a little noise. I'll dangle it in front of him, and he'll just pretend like he's not interested. But then if I run around the island dragging it behind me, what he'll do is crouch and wait till I come by, and then he'll jump. So he likes the hunt. He likes the chase. He doesn't like to just play with something if you want to play with it. I'm not sure how to get him on to this big treadmill, this big wheel. I think it would be good for him because he has an overabundance of energy. He's a house cat. I don't have the biggest house, and he's a great big guy, and he's really an athletic, muscular cat. And I really would like to get him to burn some of that energy. So that's why I bought it. But I don't know. I can't get him to do it. Now, Callie's my gentle, sweet little princess girl. She's not going to get on that thing. Um, she's not very athletic at all. She can't even jump up to the counter. She will jump on the chair first. And I think I told you I measured one of his leaps, and he leaped 11 feet 3 inches. Yeah, but the thing about catnip, Lisa, I tried to put a catnip toy on there, and he just grabs it. He just grabs it off the wheel. He doesn't get on and start going around the wheel. Um, all is well. Retired and inspired. Well, maybe one day I'll get there, but I got a long way to go. I'm a healthy, vibrant young man with a full head of hair. I know you're wondering which one of those things I'm lying about. So anyway, that's going to be my challenge for the coming weeks. I think I can return it. It's from Amazon. I think I can return it within 30 days. The problem is it's already assembled, and it has the stick-on. The whole thing is, I would say carpeted, but it's like thick felt. But you have to peel those off and stick them on. So I'd never be able to get those off. I don't know how I would dismantle it in order to return it. So I don't know. I guess I just have to commit myself to teaching him how to use this wheel. If anybody has any ideas on how to train a cat and how to train a cat to use an exercise wheel, let me know, because I really would like to see him. I thought I dropped my. I had this wire to my microphone. I have this lavalier mic, but it's not wireless. And I have this thing. It was down on the ground. I have it all bundled up in my lap. I had it down on the ground, and then of course Max came in and started playing with it. So I think it's a boy thing. Must do the same thing, but my girl can't do that. Well, it could be, but do you have a exercise wheel? If you got it to work, it could be. I don't know. I've seen some. I think that some female cats are pretty athletic. I mean, in the wild, like if you're talking about the big cats, isn't it the female cats that are really the hunters? Like lions, it's a lioness that does the hunting, isn't it? So my friend Bill across the street was commenting to me. I don't know if he's watching or not. Bill, if you're watching, you should be typing in the comments. But he always talks about me drinking a brown liquid on the air. I think that sounds disgusting to call it a brown liquid. Maybe Bella was just not interested. Not interested in what? Are you talking about a wheel? Or are you talking about some other activity you're trying to get Bella interested in? An exercise wheel? This is like pulling teeth, Lisa. Work with me here. All right. I mean, I can get him to exercise. I can get him to chase that thing around, if I'm chasing it. But by the way, speaking of getting people to do things, okay, cats aren't exactly people. Can I get you all to click the thumbs up? So anyway, I am trying to get that cat to do this. I wrote some topics down here, but I'll be darned if I can read what they say. I saw, okay, I want to tell you about this. I've been seeing something. I don't know why this pops up on my feed because I really don't watch it, but I see it. Okay, not a wheel, but it had lights and a spinning mouse for them to chase around. I have a thing like that. It's a little ball and it's got a long tail and it lights up and it runs around and then it'll jump and it'll chirp and it'll go back and forth and then it'll take off. And it's really funny. It's like Max, he's interested in it, but I'll be doggone if he's going to bother to chase it. He watches it, and then when it stops and starts chirping, he'll walk up to it and sniff it and look at it, nudge it. Then it takes off again, and he'll slowly saunter it. It's almost like, remember in the second Terminator, and they had that fancier Terminator, the better one, the one that could turn into liquid metal and stuff. And he would never seem like he was in a hurry. He would just walk in a very determined fashion, like he knew he was going to get him regardless. That's kind of what Max is like with that toy. So yeah, he's not gonna chase it. But anyway, hopefully I can get him to. Maybe if I get a laser light. He doesn't seem to be interested in laser lights. Callie is. If I could get Callie on that wheel, then Max would use it. Because Max, like whatever she's doing, he likes to push her out of the way and take over. And boy, did I spend a day. I am so sorry. I spent the whole day cleaning the lanai, which doesn't sound like much, but I mean, I really cleaned it. I took all the furniture out and I started with, I took a little De Weber, they're like a little round plastic. Don't worry, I'll get back to the monkey. And I did all that around all the windows and everything, and then I got the little softer felt. I don't know what it is. It's like on an extendable, almost like an antenna, and I was getting the fan blades and I was cleaning everything up, and then I got the blower and I was blowing off with my leaf blower the screens, and then I got and boy, did that work good on the tracks of the doors, the glass doors. I took that leaf blower and cleaned all the dirt out. And then I got my broom and I swept everything really good. And then I got a bucket of water, soapy water, and a rag, and I wiped down all of the surfaces, the white surfaces, the frame of the screens and all the door frames for the sliding doors and the tracks of the sliding doors. I'm wiping, getting in all the corners and everything. Then I got out my mop and I mopped the whole thing. And then while that was being done, I took all the stuff that was out there and I threw it in the water. I'll tell you, I worked. I bet I was cleaning that lanai for 2 hours, and then some of the cushions were really stained because the cats laying them. And I think it's oil from the fur, and they get them real furry and everything. And so I've been putting towels and cloths and different things out so they lay on that instead of laying on the cushions of the chairs. And I washed those, and that lint trap in the dryer. I'll tell you, I could have probably peeled that off and made another cat out of it. And so on the cushions were a little stained. So then I had to get out and vacuum those. And then I got my wet dry vac. Well, not a wet dry. I don't know what you call it. It's one of those that will squirt the cleanser on it, and then you can scrub it, and then it vacuums it up from there. I guess it's kind of like a wet dry vac. It's only a wet vac. And I got some Resolve, it's like a upholstery cleaner, and I squirted that, and I was scrubbing. I worked so hard, and I am just sore from cleaning that lanai. I scrubbed the daylights out of it. So isn't this interesting discussion topic? So anyway, So that's part of what I did today. I got that lanai cleaned out. And then the cats didn't like it because they like to go out there, but I had to wait till everything dried off before I let him back out. So now it's clean. It looks good. I brought this little, I don't know. It's sort of like an IKEA stand. It's got four sections that you could put baskets or something. I don't have the baskets, but I put that out there because I brought okay, you guys know that I've got a condo down on the beach, right? And I got my home here. And I shouldn't say I have it. It's a long story. It's um, really my in-laws, and they're both in assisted living locations, so they don't live there anymore, and it's in the trust, and I'm the trustee. So when you see me down there on Marco Island, that's all about. That's why I'm looking out over the beach and everything. I certainly can't afford to live that way, but it's kind of my place now. So anyway, um, I bought a new TV for that place for one of the bedrooms, and I brought the old TV home with me now. And so I needed to set it on something because I'm putting it out in the lanai. So I got this little four box thing it's like an IKEA, but it's not. And I put that out there. I'm realizing this is really boring, isn't it? So what about the monkey? All right. I'm getting these videos in my feed, and I don't know why. And it's videos and it disturbs me. I find it very, very disturbing. It's a monkey, and they put him in with cobras, and it's like they fight or something. And then, I mean, I guess it could be, the monkey's on a little leash, which I think is really super bad. And I guess you could say they were raised together, and the cobra's defanged. I don't know. But why would you do that to animals just to get views and for entertainment? And it's one of the real reasons. And I don't like the X platform, Twitter. Um, there's so much violence over there and so much fighting. Have you guys ever gone there and they have people beating each other up and knocking people out, and now there's pornography over there. I mean, that place is really, it's not a good place. They're talking about TikTok. TikTok's not working now here in the United States. I don't know if you know that, but they're talking about how TikTok is undermining American youth. If you've been over to X, that place is terrible. It's awful. Anyways, so back to our monkey. So it reminded me when I was a kid, I must have been, I don't know, 12, 13 years old. And a friend of mine, his family owned a bar in Milwaukee, and they lived above this bar. And I went over to his house. He wasn't a really good friend of mine. He was a guy I'd hang out with every now and then. And I went to his house above the bar one time, and he had an older sister. I don't know if she was teenage, or college. I don't know. But just the way the bedrooms were set up, you had to like go through one bedroom to get to another. And I don't even remember that much, but I do remember she had this monkey in a cage. And it was this little monkey, like I don't know what they call them, but really a tiny little monkey with a long tail. And he was kind of mean. He was jumping in it. But of course, my buddy would go up and like startle him. And I'm thinking, well, don't do that to your monkey. But anyway, you know, no, I was going to say it's the only person I've ever known that owned a monkey, but that's not true. When I was in the entertainment business, I used to know a couple, Jocko and the Jays. Jim and Joyce were their names, and Jocko was the monkey. They actually owned two monkeys, and it was like an organ grinder monkey. And he would go out and climb over people and stuff with his little. I don't know if I think he took when he'd get money and he had a little vest, a little red vest he wore, and he would put the money in there. And they would like work carnivals and fairs and stuff. But anyway, back to my buddy when I was a kid. So I said, where did she get a monkey? And he said, well, she was out one time with her boyfriend went over, and this monkey was in the street, and there were some kids that were trying to run him over. And so she ran out and picked up the monkey and brought it home. And I remember thinking, oh, wow, boy, it's terrible. They were trying to run over a monkey. And I was just thinking about it today. And I thought nobody was trying to run over that monkey. You know how women are, right? Even when they're little women, teenagers, They always have an angle. Sorry, ladies. You know where I'm heading with this, right? That was a story. She wanted a monkey, so she came home and told mom and dad. Well, they're trying to run over this poor monkey, and she got the sympathy, so they let her keep the monkey. I almost get why it took me 40 years to figure this out is beyond me. Probably because I forgot all about the monkey after that day I was at his house. I didn't think about it again until today. But that's what happened, I'm sure. I'm sure that's why she had a monkey. Nobody else pushed the thumbs up. Aren't we going to go ahead and do that? So that crazy monkey. But don't watch the monkey videos because all they do is encourage other people to do the monkey views. Now, today, no, it wasn't today. One Thursday it must have been. Thursday is we've got really great trash pickup here in Naples, at least in my community. They pick up our trash twice a week. They pick it up on Mondays and Thursdays. And on Thursdays is the days that they pick up the regular trash as well as recycling, and they'll also pick up the big items. And you'll notice, or maybe you don't notice, but I am in a different location today. I'm actually not in a different spot. I'm turned differently because there used to be a sleeper sofa behind me. And it was a really nice one. I bought this when I was back in Wisconsin, so it doesn't owe me anything. I've had it for, a good long time, at least 5, 6, 7 years anyway. But it had this beautiful mattress. It was air inflatable mattress, and then it had like a cushion on top of that. And I'll tell you, you would lay on that thing, and you felt like it was in a regular mattress. It was really, really a comfortable bed to lay on. And last time my daughter was here visiting me, she said that thing's leaking. She said I had to keep getting up in the night and turning on the pump and pump back up again. I said, oh, geez. And I thought, well, that thing's seen its day. The cats have been scratching up the corners. So I was thinking about throwing it away. And I heard the truck come down the street. And I know that when that truck comes down the street, it's going to turn around. It's going to start coming down my side of the street, right? So I have about 8 to 10 minutes. And I thought, oh, I want to get this couch out. I don't know if you've ever tried to lift a sleeper sofa, but they are incredibly heavy. So what I did, right in this room here, pushed it up. I got it on end and I muscled it through this door here. And right after this door, you can kind of see the cat tree out there. There's a quick little hallway there. So I did do a quick turn and then sliding and pushing. I got it to the door and I got it outside. And the whole thing out there, I have a brick walk. Oh, hi Max. I have a brick walkway. So hi, you can come up here. And so I thought, how am I going to slide this thing and get it out to the street? And I'm up against the clock right now, right? Because like I said, I had 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm picking this thing up, like what do they call that? The caber toss that they do in Scotland. And I'm picking it up and I push it over and let it flop down. And I pick it up again. And I rolled this thing end over end until it got out to the street. And then I ran back in the house and I got the cushions. That took me 2 trips, really big cushions. Put the cushions out there. And then I was ready to go somewhere. Matter of fact, I was driving away when I actually saw the truck come up. So I drove around the block, pulled into my driveway, ran inside, pushed this whole couch out. And I'm sweating like a pig now because I'm pushing this stuff. And, I'm not in the shape that I used to be when I was a younger man. I got in my car, and I'm not kidding. As soon as I got in my car, that truck came up behind me. So I literally got that thing out there with about 90 seconds to spare. And it pulled up and they picked it up and put the whole thing into the truck. They had, two strong men that came out and picked that thing up. And I only had one kind of moderately strong man pushing it up. So that was interesting, but I got my couch out of here. Now I have to decide what I'm going to put in here. This is sort of a catch-all room. I've got my bookcases over here, and I've got a TV here on the wall, and I've got a desk. The desk kind of folds up out of the wall. It's like a cabinet, and it folds down a little bit, almost like a Murphy bed type thing. small though, it's not very big. That's usually where I'm doing my live stream from. Right now I have kind of a little table, like a little folding table. So I'm wondering what I should do. I really do need, this is the only other guest bedroom I have, so I really do need something in here. And I'm thinking of getting one of, speaking of Murphy beds, I'm thinking of getting one of those chest beds. Have you ever seen one of those? It just looks like a chest. But then the top opens and you pull down the front and that turns into like the base and then it's got a, okay, did you see my, what are you doing? Did you just see my camera move? Max, stop it. He is, he is chewing. I don't, you're going to get the shock of your life if you're chewing that electrical cord. All right. I think he's trying to get my attention. So anyway, um, I'm wrestling with what I should get. I looked at sleeper sofas. I'll tell you, it's crazy. They have not improved on sleepers since the 1970s. I remember being a little kid and staying places where they had sleeper sofas and they always had that bar that sticks on your back and the cushion's about that big, just regular old-fashioned foam. They're all still like that. And I thought, you got to be kidding me. In all these years, they haven't improved the quality of a sleeper sofa. I haven't even seen any like the one I had. That one was beautiful, the inflatable. I'm not seeing any like, what are you doing now? Come here. Come over here. Get up here. Come on. Okay. I'm gonna go right here. I want to show you what this cat loves. He loves to be upside down. He just loves to be upside down like this. And this is his favorite thing. He will just relax when he's upside down. You can go now. So anyway, I don't know what to get. A couch would be nice in here, but then, I'm thinking, well, how often would I come in here and sit down on a sofa, sit down on a couch and watch TV? I'd probably never ever do that. So that's why I thought maybe those Murphy beds, but those are expensive. The chest ones, if you're going to get a quality one, you're paying $2,500 to $3,000. You know, I don't know. I thought about a day bed. We used to have some day beds over at the condo. I'm not a big fan of them. And the other thing, if you get one of those chest beds, they have the big 6-inch foam mattresses. They're pretty darn comfortable. A day bed might be an idea. It might be possible. Um, you found my channel through where? Through AI? Really? How did you do that? That's fascinating. How did you find my channel through AI? You have to, at first I thought you said through Al. And I thought, who in the world is Al? Um, I'm really curious as to how you found my channel through AI. So anyway, I am thinking about that. I don't know, Lisa, maybe a daybed. That's possible. Here's the problem. If I get one of, it's not a problem, it's just a consideration. A daybed is usually the size of a twin bed. If I get one of those chests, it'll take up the same space, maybe even less, and you can get a queen size. And because all you're talking about is a width, you're taking probably, I'm sure there's less space in a daybed, but of course then you have a big chest there. It's not multifunctional. Um, so I don't know. How about a hammock? So our choices are we can get a regular size bed. I don't want that. I don't want a bed filling up this room. I could get a chest bed. I could get a day bed. I could get a hammock. And what do we got here? I was on GPDT, isn't it? Wrote GBT, but I think it's GPT. Asking how to repair a broken drawer slide. And you referred me to your video. And then I clicked on your video and seen you going, oh, cool. Yeah, that broken drawer slide. I'll tell you, it happened again because they don't sell metal ones. They sell plastic. Maybe they're nylon, but that video I made with the drawer slide was about 2 years ago. And darn if that thing didn't break again. And I'll tell you what, my next door neighbor, our houses are identical. Same thing happened to him. And he just fixed his temporarily with, wait for it. What do you think he fixed it with? That's right, duct tape. So, fortunately, I found the hardware on Amazon. Now, it could be that I might have them a little out of alignment or something, and it's just putting enough pressure on it that over the course of a number of years it starts to crack. That is possible, but it's an easy fix, but an awkward fix. It depends how easily you can access the back uh, of that cabinet. So duct duct tap duct taps. Okay, duct tape. I know what you're saying. Duct tape fixes everything. Well, it'll fix New Zealand. You're watching this from New Zealand? That is awesome. We were talking about alligators earlier today, but I'm guessing in New Zealand you have crocodiles. Am I right? Crocodiles are bigger and meaner than alligators. People here are so afraid of the alligators. And yeah, every now and then someone will, a gator will run down a person and drag him into the water, but not very often. And very, very seldom that happens. But it's my understanding that crocodiles, they will certainly do it. We have crocodiles. I think Florida is the only place in the world um, where alligators and crocodiles live in the same environment. And there aren't many crocodiles here because the alligator, I shouldn't say this, I'm going to be generalizing. Alligators are typically freshwater, but alligators have been known to go into brackish water, and alligators have even been seen swimming in the Gulf of Mexico. So I know that you have, well, wait. Are you saying that you have crocodiles in Georgia? Oh, in zoo enclosures. Oh, wait. No. Okay, now we're talking about New Zealand. I thought it was Lisa saying that. So you don't have crocodiles in the wild there. Okay, I thought maybe you did, but we have them here. I have yet. I mean, I see alligators daily. I would say daily. I see alligators. I do not. I have yet to see a crocodile, and I really want to get down into the Everglades, which for me means walking about 100 yards that direction. Um, but I mean deep into the Everglades because I know there are crocodiles there, and I'm going to do some research and find out where most of the crocodiles live down here. And that would be a great video. I guess the average person probably wouldn't be interested because to the average person, alligator, crocodile, they both look the same, right? But crocodiles, of course, you can always tell because their teeth, typically they have teeth on the outside, and they kind of have like underbites. Teeth protrude out of their mouth. They have that long, skinny snout. Um, they're just different. They're different. But I'll tell you, those crocodiles, they got an attitude. Alligators are more laid back. They're more chill. And crocodiles, they're angry little buggers. So anyway, um, I read something online. Remember when I did the video of the skunk ape hunter, Dave Shealy? And he was a really neat guy, and he was so nice to me and so accommodating. He showed me around. I didn't even set up that interview ahead of time. We just got to talking. He showed me around place that parts of his museum where you pay extra. I think it's like a $5 ticket to go in and see uh, uh, the big python and everything. He just showed me that for free. He took me around, and he was just such a nice guy. And then I read an article where he seemed kind of angry, and I think it sounded to me like people were almost interviewing him just to be the butt of the joke. And it's really sad because he does have a sincere belief in the skunk ape. And who's to say that he's wrong? As a matter of fact, I almost think, maybe 10% of me thinks it's possible. Unlikely, but possible. But he says he's seen him. He's got a video. So anyway, I don't know. It made me think of Dave Shealy. Other than I would like to do another video with him, but I saw that article. I saw something online where he just was not very happy with people. and I don't think he wants to do interviews anymore. But maybe if I called him, you never know. You don't get if you don't ask, right? Um, and the only reason I thought about that is because his Skunk Ape Museum is down there, and I bet if anybody would know where to find a crocodile, I bet Dave Shealy would know. I bet he would be able to tell me where I could find that. So anyway, I wasn't ready to talk about that, but what was I going to talk about here? I don't know. I can't read my list of topics even. Oh, I did want to, as we're kind of winding. Well, wait, we're way beyond our half hour, aren't we? We're about 40 minutes in. I did want to ask about, and here, perfect, because I get on sidetracks and I start to babble. I have been thinking, and I've done this in the past, but I haven't done it regularly and I haven't done it very often. But after we're done with the live streams stay up, but you have to go to that different area, the live stream area. By the way, people that are in here right now, if you could give me just a yay or a nay, do you see or read or even know about the community section here in YouTube? And when I say, hey, we're having a live stream tonight at 8 o'clock, do you even see that and acknowledge it? Um, am I bringing Thirsty Thursday back? Yes. Yes, I want to bring Thirsty Thursday back. Matter of fact, I talked about it a couple weeks ago. One of the approaches that I want to take, I wanted to start a series of James Bond cocktails. I wanted to start with Dr. No and work my way through all of the James Bond films and see what cocktails he drinks or other people drink or what they mention. Um, and what made me think about this, I was watching Live and Let Die, and Felix Leiter, I don't know if you guys know James Bond, but Felix ordered a cocktail. What is that? And I looked it up. Apparently, it's a real common, it's not a hurricane, but I mean, it's a real common cocktail that's uh, consumed in New Orleans. And I thought, oh, and I looked up and I thought, oh, we could make that. That sounds interesting. And then that light bulb went off. My head kind of looks like a light bulb, doesn't it? The light bulb went off. And I thought, why don't I go through all of the James Bond movies? Now, obviously, I think if we go to, although I shouldn't jump to conclusions, I think in Dr. No, all he has is a vodka martini shaken, not stirred. But maybe that would be the classic to start with, right? And then move forward from there. I think it would be really, really interesting. So, yeah, I did not. I'll tell you why. If you really want to know, I try to not think about this too much. But the reason that I stopped doing Thirsty Thursday, my wife always used to kind of research and set up the cocktails for me, or at least she would say, "Oh, what about this type of drink?" And it would put the bug in my ear, and I would look it up, or I would experiment a little bit and come up with my own version. And as most of you probably know, my wife passed away. She was diagnosed with cancer. Um, I think in late April, early May, and it took her very, very quickly. And so throughout her illness, that kind of fell to the wayside, and that was like the last thing in our mind, having her research cocktails for me. And of course, when she got really sick, and we had at home, in home hospice care, I just I didn't say a lot of it at the time. As a matter of fact, no one even knew about it until she passed. So it was really, really tough, and that's why I stopped doing. So it's been, a better part of a year that I haven't been doing Thirsty Thursday. But it's that's the reason why I stopped doing it. But it doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. So yeah, I've been thinking about bringing that back. So Janet thinks that bond cocktails would be a good idea. Thank you. Yeah, Dick, I could make a hurricane, Dick, but you know what it is? A hurricane is whatever you want to make it. I made a hurricane already. I've done it on the channel, but you can walk into any New Orleans bar and order a hurricane. You'll get something different than you got in the bar next door. So Lisa said, I don't get notifications of anything on the community tabs, but I may see them in my feed sometimes. Janet saw it. Um, Oh, Irving, you found the Glensheen Mansion. I'll tell you what, that was one of the last videos I did before I resigned from that job and moved down here to Florida. And I don't know if everyone here has seen the Glensheen. That was one of my, out of all the places I visited, and I visited a lot of places. I mean, I was in every major city you can think of, in US and Canada. I've been to Alaska, I've been to Hawaii, I've been to Newfoundland, I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere, man. Because my job over 10 years, different city I was out to every week. And out of all those places and all those magnificent things and landmarks, going to the top of the Empire State Building and, you know, riding up the St. Louis Arch and, going across the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, all of those classic things, Glensheen Mansion was one of the most memorable for me. It was just, it's a fascinating place. At least I think it is. Now I know I have a different mindset as a lot of people. And then just the fact that it had a murder mystery attached to it. It's like a real game of Clue. And I think a lot of the reason I really loved it, I was there and it was a really, I don't know, maybe it was November, something like that. It was getting to be really super cold because it's way up in Duluth. So, and they got the winds blowing off Lake Superior and it was so cold. And for some reason, they had a whiskey taste. I've talked about this before, but they had a whiskey tasting there. And it just happened to fall on the day I was there. So I like spent the whole day there. The tour of this place is hours long, and it was during COVID when I was there. So rather than taking groups through, they kind of let you run wild, go on your own. And from what I remember, gosh, did it have an audio tour? Or was it just a pamphlet or something you followed? But it was much more. If I would have listened to everything they said and followed it, it would have probably taken me twice as long. It was just fascinating. And then there was that murder mystery. So it was very cool. Sorry to get all excited about that, but oh, I want to show you guys something. I heard something today. You're going to have to look at an empty chair for 10 seconds. I'll be right back. All right. I'm still here. Oh, no. I dropped the bomb. Okay, here we go. So I learned something today. And as we're talking about, I wasn't intending to talk about this even, but I will. So anyhow, Glensheen Mansion was, let me read a couple of comments before we go. On your phone, there's an audio tour. Okay, so that must have been what I was listening to, is the audio tour. So you were just there, Irving. Did you enjoy it? I mean, I thought it was a really neat thing. And who knew that that was hidden up there in Duluth? And I've been to Duluth many times, and I don't know how I came across it. If I was looking things up or what. But and they're great people. That Condons, Condons, I think their name is, that owned it, and they were really great citizens of the community. And there's a Congdon Park up there, and they donated and built things to the community. He was a steel magnate in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And the other fascinating thing about that mansion, if I don't know, Irving, if you went, did you go into the attic? Did you take that part of the tour? I know it was a little extra money to do that, but all the beams and everything up there are steel, which was really unusual in 1905, 1906 when they built it. I live in the area and go through a couple times a year. Oh, really? Oh, well, that's very cool then. So you know it really well. Yeah, I lived in Wisconsin, but I never really, and I used to get up, like I said, I've been to Duluth a handful of times. I've been up there several times, but I only did that the one time. I really did enjoy it. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this guy. Anybody remember him? Um, this is, and does it say anything on it? What does it say on here? Does it say Gemini Giant, or it says on here launching pad? Okay, so I want to tell you the story. It's an old video that I made years ago. This is the Gemini Giant, and way back in the early 1960s, when roadside attractions were in their heyday, in their glory days, you would see these guys. I don't know, they were 20 feet tall, made of fiberglass, and they were scattered over the country, and they called them muffler men. And Texaco had a promotion where they made 20 or 30 of these and sent them throughout the country. And usually they held a little muffler in their hand. This one has a rocket, and they called them muffler men. So very rare to see them, but whenever I would tour places, whenever I would, when I was going uh, back in the day when I had that job, I would always look for muffler men. And this is probably the most famous. It's in Wilmington, Illinois. And, I mean, not this one, but the real one. It's in Wilmington, Illinois, which is right at the start of Route 66. It's a ways out of Chicago, but not that far. And there is actually a YouTube channel dedicated to these. I think they're called American Giants, maybe is the name of it. It's a neat channel if you like this type of stuff. And anyhow, I did a little story from the launching pad it's called. And I met Tully, the guy who owned it, and his lovely wife, and they were wonderful people. And we chatted for a long time, and I made the video. And he signed this to me. He didn't sign this, but he signed the box that it came in. And so sometimes when you see me in the back, if you wonder why, one time a lady said, "You're really creepy. You have all these toys behind you." No, they're not toys. They're all uh, significant. They all go back to something that I did on one of my tours. Like this is not a toy. It's a bobblehead of probably the most famous of all the Muffler Men from that iconic period, the 1960s. And he restored it and he had it outside his place. And I found out recently, I don't know exactly what happened. I'm gonna have to research it, but Tully lost the restaurant. And this went up for auction, not this one, the real one, the 22-foot one, whatever, went up for auction. Anyone want to take a wild guess what the Gemini Giant, an iconic muffler man, from the 1960s when space was all the rage? So they made a few of these that look like, most of them look like, sometimes they look like lumberjacks, and they had beards and they would be holding an axe. Oftentimes they would have mufflers in their hands. Well, of course, this one had a rocket ship. Wild guess. What do you guys think this went for when it went up for auction? The real Gemini Giant. Well, that's way too high, Deb, but you're kind of in the ballpark. $275,000 for a fiberglass statue. And they were 275 grand. I can't imagine that. So anyway, I was heartbroken when I heard of that because first of all, you know how you make some friendships, and even though I didn't stay in like communication with Tully, it's one of those things when you go back and you remember each other and you can kind of talk. Well, remember the last time we came through? And there's a lot of people like that throughout the country that I met just in weird ways. I met a guy that had a muffler man in his yard in Arizona. He bought two homes. He was a junk collector. He would collect everything, street signs, but he had the most fascinating stuff. He had some of those fiberglass dinosaurs, from what was it? The gas station. I'm trying to think which gas station it was. He used to have the Brontosaurus out there. But this guy had thousands upon thousands of weird little memorabilia. And his house, it was kind of sad in a way because his house was so crowded. It was just like a little path we'd weave through. He had phone booths and Charlie McCarthy dolls, And then he bought the house across the street because his house got too full and his yard got too full. But he had a muffler man in his yard. And I saw it somewhere, Sinclair, there you go. And I saw it somewhere online. And I said, I got to visit this place. And I was just going to do a drive by and take a few pictures and take a little video. And he pulled up in his pickup truck full of junk. He's bringing more junk home. And I started talking to him. And, some of these people are just so kind, that you run into. And he took me around and was showing me all the little things and where he found them, what they meant to him. And then he took me into his house. And then he took me across the street and took me into that house. And you got to look up that video. I don't even know what it's called, but it had to be 5 years ago. And it was a muffler man in his yard. So anyway, back to the Gemini giant. So I haven't reached out to Tully, and I don't know what happened, but he sold the restaurant. Maybe it just wasn't bringing out. Route 66 doesn't have the traffic that he used to, but he gave it a shot. And I love it when people try to live their dream. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if he failed or, he went through a life crisis. I have no idea. But all I know is that the giant has been sold. And I just love that his heart was really in it. He was just a great guy. And I thought, oh no, the Gemini Giant is no longer going to be in an iconic place on Route 66. And I found out that some historic society raised the money or got a grant from somewhere and they outbid everybody else for $275,000 and they repositioned the Gemini Giant in a park in is it Wilmington or Wilmont? Wilmington, I think it's Wilmington. Um, and so the Gemini Giant is now there. But I feel like I got a little piece of history, because I have this, and like I say, Tully signed the box to me, and I have a little piece of history of Route 66. So whenever you see those things behind me, every single thing I have back there is a memory from, and I have a whole box that I still didn't put on the shelves, but everything's a memory. It had something to do with one of my visits. So now I have the cats. When my wife got sick, I cut back on my work hours. And so now tomorrow, oh, thank goodness. I know you don't cross your fingers what do you do when you're thankful for something? All right. I heard from my boss today, and I don't have to go in tomorrow because there's something they need me to work on from home. And there's been a little disruption in one of my coworkers couldn't come in. So instead, I'm going to be covering. But anyway, I don't have to go in tomorrow. I'm going to work from home, which means if I start at 7 o'clock, rather than have to get up at 5 and drive to work, I get up and have my coffee and have my breakfast, and then it's about a 45-minute drive to work. I can get up at 6:30 and start at 7. So I'm happy about that. But why am I telling you all this? I know this was leading up to something. Anyway, I only work a couple of days a week now. That's what I was going to tell you. When my wife got sick, I stopped. I wanted to be home more, so I went to part time, and they allowed me to work from home, and that kind of sort of continued. So now my last work, I only work to Wednesday, so I have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, which means I have time to do a little travel. But I got the cats, so I have to find a way to get the cats taken care of. And it's not just someone to come in, give them a little water, give them a little food, and close the door. I want someone that's going to spend some time with the cats, and the cats are going to feel comfortable, and they're going to notice if something's wrong. And I mean, they're family members, right? So that's what's holding me back. So I'm thinking of getting back on the road. I talked about it in the last couple of videos. Some of the things I want to do right away from down here. I want to take the Key West Express, which is a boat. I want to take the trip, although I've done it once before, but not for a long time, not since I lived here. I wanted to actually drive Key West, going over that long, long bridge across all the keys. I wanted to do that. I wanted to go up to Orlando a few times, but I also wanted to take a few longer trips. take some road trips, see America again, and visit some of my old haunts, and then some new places as well. All right, so what I was going to talk about before I get sidetracked, I get sidetracked a lot, don't I? I was going to say these videos are up, and some people will watch the live streams later. They'll watch it later in the week, which is great. But a lot of times people will look and they'll see, like right now, we're into what, 50 minutes already? Oh, it's been an hour already. So we've been on for an hour. And they won't watch that because it's too long to watch. And a lot of it's just my babbling. So I thought maybe I would take them and edit them down just to, the segments. And then maybe like when I'm talking about the skunk ape, I could put some things in there I don't when I'm just doing my live chat. Um, like cutaways and things as I'm doing this voiceover. So you might see that. It would take a little time. Editing down an hour video is time consuming. And if we edit down to just the stuff that's interesting in this hour, it was probably 12 minutes, right? So, so that's what I'm thinking of doing. What do you think? Good idea, bad idea? Does it take, I mean, I guess the people that are here, I could still leave the live ones up too, for that matter, and just have the abbreviated one. Yeah, I might do that. All right. And what would you do with this thing, Sinclair gas station? The dinosaurs? What would you do? He just had him in his yard. He had him in his yard. He had a big he had a big fiberglass elephant that had a hose fitting. I talked about this a week or two ago. Had a hose fitting on the tail and it would squirt water out his nose. So um all right. So anyway, we have been on for an hour. We've been on for a whole hour, an hour and 2 minutes. So I think we're going to bring this one to a close. I want to, as always, thank all of you. Before you go, if you could give me the thumbs up, I would sure appreciate it. As always, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for joining me. I know that you have other things you can be doing, and you will not believe how appreciative I am that you decided to spend some time here. And I did want to still take, I've still got up my mind to take that Amtrak trip. So I'm going to try to figure that one out as well. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. And I'll see you here next week at 8 o'clock. You know why I always say 8 Eastern, 7 Central? When I was a kid growing up, they would always say that on the shows. See Happy Days at 8 o'clock, 7 Central. So now that I'm in Eastern time, I can say that, right? So thank you, everyone. As always, I appreciate it. We'll see you back here next week, and I'll be dropping some videos throughout the week as well. And if you think about it, the Cali Cat is my second channel, the Cali Cat, and then I have a look back. A look back hasn't been real active. I'm working on some videos right now to put on the look back. So I hope that you visit those channels as well. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.